We have two more variations to look at for domain and range. This is our second to last type of domain and range problem we're going to see. So for this one, we're going to write the domain and range. Remember, domain and range, domain is from left to right. Range is from bottom to top. The domain is going to be a little bit difficult for this graph only for one fact. Where does the graph start? How far to the left does the graph actually go? Where's Heidi actually going to start her walk? Well, if you'll notice, the graph keeps on going up, 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 up forever. And that means if you look at it, the direction of the arrow is also pointing to the left forever. Now in math, we can list this one of two ways. One way we can represent this is that since it's going forever to the left, we can say that her graph or her hike starts at negative infinity. She started way back at negative infinity. Negative infinity just means going on forever to the left, since our left values are negative. Now what's the rightmost value? How far to the right would the hike go, would the graph go in this example? Well, the graph goes all the way over to positive 1. So we write positive 1. Since we're talking about domain, we write x in between. Now since you can never equal infinity, you use no underline. Since the 1 was an open circle, we do not underline the positive 1 either. What about the range? How far down does the graph go? Well, the graph goes all the way down to 0 and actually touches 0. So we write 0. Question is, how far up does the graph go? Well, the graph goes up to 1 here, but the range means the very top of that blue line. Since there's an arrow going on forever up, that means that our range is going to end at a positive infinity. It goes on forever. So that's our y values. And our y values are going to be between 0 and positive infinity. Since the 0, we actually touch that value, it actually reaches the bottom of the graph, we use an underline. Since it goes up forever, you can never actually reach infinity, so we do not underline that. This is one way you will see the domain and range of this particular graph. Another way is to just cut off the infinity part because it's not necessary, and you can make it a lot easier just by saying x is less than 1, which is true. All of our graph values go from 1 to the left, less than negative 1. You can cut off the infinity on this end as well, and you can say all of your y values are bigger than 0. Y bigger than or equal to 0, which is true. Our y values start at 0 and they go up from there along the graph. So if you follow the graph, it goes up, 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 up forever. So you could list your range as this way either, or as well. Here's our last type of domain and range we're going to look at. Write the domain and range of this graph. Now notice this graph is different from the previous one in that there are two arrows. What does this mean? It means your domain is going to go left forever and right forever. So you could say negative infinity to infinity. Remember, your domain is from left to right with your x values in between. That's the long way to write it. Another way is a shorthand way of writing an r with a second line through the r, meaning all real numbers, meaning it involves every single number as far as you can go to the left and as far as you can go to the right. That's your domain. Now your range is from bottom to top. How far down does the graph go? You follow the blue line down. It goes down, 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 down forever. So your range goes from negative infinity all the way up to positive 4. Positive 4 is the highest point on the graph. And those are your y values. Remember, we can't actually touch negative infinity, so we write the symbol like that with no underline. And since we actually reach 4, we write less than or equal to. However, you will also see this answer written as just y is less than or equal to 4. Both of those answers are completely acceptable, and you'll probably see this one more often. They'll leave the negative infinity off since it's not necessary. Over here, you'll see the R written more often than you'll see written the negative infinity and positive infinity, because negative infinity and positive infinity just take longer to write.